Thank you.
This one?
Well, we will see. So thank you for having me. I mean, I can be super fast and sum this up in one sentence. The full problem is actually the Czech people, but I will let you decide for yourself. And I'm seeing how actually the presentations are a little bit building up with the motivations of what we can do up to the uh, challenges in the translation, and let's see how it worked for us in Czech Republic. So I will start with a little bit motivation that it takes a community to build one, and my big inspiration was when the word GloBIAS was thinking, and Robert made this image. That I was looking at it, and I was like, wow, like there is so many like regional communities, even with small countries. Like, why we don't have anything like this? Because maybe it will be, maybe it won't be that challenging to start. And I was also part of the core bias proposal, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with, because I don't think it did go out in the word. But actually, to propose you this a little bit, there was more than one proposal for the GloBIAS. It was connected with the core bias this led by Jean-Yves to provide like a service to the world to get kind of regional support, and I liked it like a really lot. I didn't know, but we actually, as a Czech Republic, a little bit provide this. But I will get to it. But it was the motivation, the first motivation that I got, and it was like, okay, so let's try. Let's try to build something like this with the low amounts of budget I have. And also a very big motivation was the SwissBIAS that actually started with an aim of no budget uh, way to start to meet. But they were starting at a different point because there was about 20 people that decide, okay, so it makes sense to start meeting regular. Let's do a thing. And they started SwissBIAS. I was like, okay, I want to do something like this. I don't know that many people around, so I will try to ask and we will see. So the starting point was very, very different. But the aims was that I didn't have any budget, and then I didn't want to add any budget. That was one of the motivation of a SwissBIAS. Like if you keep low budget, it would be easier to maintain, easier to transfer. Uh, it should be free for anybody. Of course, it makes sense at the beginning to have as many bioimage analysts, because later, if the biologists start to connect, like if there will be only biologists, it wouldn't be helpful at all, right? So some starting point, and that we should meet every 2 months. Like we are not meeting regularly every 2 months, but I'm trying to to keep it that way. And then, of course, like the motivation would be to exchange the experience, the tools. Like we already heard about it, that it's neat to get in one place and talk about it. A lot of times, you come up with other stuff to discuss, like a hardware, software solution approaches with users and so on. That was the start. Of course, for the resources, I aim to that everybody will have access to everything. So all the meeting minutes, to build the web pages that will be based ideally and are based on GitHub. That we will have a mail group, so anyone would be able to send for help or share a resource to everybody else, and start with the X or Twitter, because of course I thought that's the best case, but for some reason Czech people doesn't use Twitter at all, and they're also very happy that I'm sharing on LinkedIn whatever is happening, because I don't know, maybe it's a specific Czech things, maybe you see it in your countries too, but it's somehow a no go. So there's also like part of the initial challenges what we have in Czech Republic. Yeah, the first one, like how Twitter can be fast, and how LinkedIn works. Like sometimes you get notified of something that happened a few weeks ago. So if you want to share information, you are having a webinar, then yes, for some people it's good. But if you find out a few weeks later, then it's no use. So the communication was a big thing. Also, I find out that we have very extensive research infrastructure that is for free for any researcher, but actually no one wants to use it for some reason, or they don't even know that it exists. So that was one of my goals to add. We have a lot of grant opportunities, but usually it's a low budget, a lot of paperwork. A lot of the researchers have like 3, 4 grants to get at some reasonable salary. In general, Czech people have a bit of aversion of any grant or scheme. So the European Union grants and things are like very, very bad things for us. So we are just starting to build and learn how the open science works, but because we are pushed to, not because we found the motivation. But I'm hoping we will get there. And unfortunately, our researchers are evaluated by a number of papers per year. Like ideally, you need to publish 2 papers a year and do some pedagogy. It's not super strict, but the motivation is still there. It's not very good motivation to cooperate with people because, of course, cooperation takes a little bit longer, and that kind of like defines also the Czech researchers. So most of the people do a lot of things at once, not because they have to, but because they want to. Because everybody a little bit thinks that they can do the thing on their own, and that's the best way. Doesn't work. Czech people are very, very creative in cheating or bypassing system rules, which can be visible now with the papers and open data. We are finding like nice creative ways how to do that, but actually not to do that. uh, Also, the people are a bit demotivated to collaborate by the system, and most of the people that are in science are there because they want to, and usually they either need a grant or second job as a means of survival because the universities are not paying them much. And of course, since we are evaluated mainly by the papers, not by the activities, then this is a hard thing to do. And then the universities are different. Sometimes you get a little extra money for publishing. Sometimes they just tell you, okay, you have to publish, or we will say goodbye. So so the initial challenges are quite big. Together with the communication, like the Czech people like to create communities, but on the very, very low level. So usually the cooperation is based on the personal context. Uh, if there are any communities, it's like a faculty clubs or ways how to get discounts for symposium or conference. So there's no big motivation to actually go together. Fortunately, we have also bioimaging, which is not that active. So my idea was, okay, so if there is a bioimaging node, there will be bioimage analyst. There will be a chance to contact people and have some starting point. Today we have actually 2 representatives, so that's very good. But at the start, it was quite challenging. At the start, out of the 16 nodes, only 3 got interested in meeting up and doing stuff together. We are a little bit growing, even though we have actually 2 to 3 open calls for bioimage analysis. Now back to the core bias, it is actually open the whole world. The first one we got, 7 proposals. 2 was from Czech Republic, 1 from Europe, and 4 was outside of the Europe. So yes, in the end, we are a little bit providing the resources, but not as was planned. So if you want something like this, I can let you know where the calls are open, and we are definitely happy to include you. So in the end, what was working, the web page, the GitHub pages, if you will be interested, let me know. I can show you how to set it up. I think you might be interested. The Google groups are very good. We partnered with Microscopy DB to promote the resources. I find this like super important. Of course, it's very hard to communicate this out. Also, the universities do not communicate to each other, so getting a contact to another person interested is usually up to going somewhere, meeting new people, and trying to get there. Also, some of the meeting resources might be interesting. For me, it works that I try to prepare some general news and tools. So the big motivation for the people to join to learn what's going on in the world. It's like very nice connection to the GloBIAS and other networks, because that's where I learned. The other people do not find it out on the LinkedIn, so that should be the motivation. Uh, at the moment, I find out some good and bad things that are happening. Uh, Definitely filling up the communication vacuum. A lot of people like are telling me they like it, that I'm sharing the resources. Not everyone has the motivation to join. Uh, Definitely the planning, hardware, and service-based experience in sharing is something then we are getting back to regularly. On the bad things, some people are joining just because they are fearing that they will miss out on something. Sometimes it's a one-way communication, and as a Czech people, we are bad at the kind of attributing or getting the credit to people that creating something. But I think like this is the way we need to improve. Uh, this year we grow up to 16 member, so this is very good. My experience also is I created a newsletter that I run in parallel. There I have 40 people, so most of the people like to passively get information compared to actively joining in something. Uh, and a little bit motivation. I don't know how familiar you are with our famous Schweik figure. This is actually a book. You are familiar? And this guy a little bit represents all the like bad things that we do in Czech Republic, but some of the things are actually good, like the adaptability and ingenuity, and you probably heard that the Czech people are very inventive and creative. So I take it as a motivation that as a Czech people we should still like keep the creative and resourceful part, and try to push past the pride and the tradition with reluctance to change, and try to grow. It will probably take us more time than the other nationalities. Maybe we will see, but I see and I feel that we are going somewhere, and hopefully we will get there. And last slides, I have special thanks to Janif, Robert, and Simon that is not there, because they helped me quite a lot with starting this, or finding the motivation that it makes sense to even try to build something like this.